Hello, is I'm audible? Hello, hello, dear participants, is I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. Welcome to third day of the FDP, and today's speaker is Ms. Aditi Sharma, and Ms. Aditi Sharma uh, is a security service consultant at Synopsys Bangalore. So her today's topic is vulnerabilities and basic hacking non-vulnerabilities and hands-on to identify vulnerabilities with tools. Welcome, ma'am. Aditi, ma'am. If I'm audible, please
Thank you, sir.
welcome,
Actually, there
ma'am.
is
Uh,
a lot of noise.
from my end, it is noise is coming. Is it?
Okay, okay, sure. Okay,
Okay.
so thank you for the warm welcome.
Thank you,
And
ma'am. Welcome,
uh,
ma'am.
yeah, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Your screen is visible.
So, welcome to all the participants. Very thanks to the Graphic Era University for this opportunity to present something on the cybersecurity field and the vulnerabilities. So today we have back-to-back two session. Basically, we will do most of the things on vulnerabilities. First, we try to understand the vulnerabilities. Then we do some practice with the help of some tools, or I'll explain more about the tools, how we actually practice. So, first of all, I'll just try to introduce myself just in one or two lines. So, I'm Aditi Sharma. I'm working as a security services consultant with one of the uh, most company name Synopsys. So Synopsys is dealing with securities in different field of cyber security, penetration testing, red teaming, and assessment, security architecture reviews. So there are very wide range of security things that our company usually do and provide. We have our own tools that we provide side to the clients. So, Synopsys is basically one of the most leading company for the security services. So, I'm working there from last 1.5 year as a security service consultant. So, my day-to-day activity usually is to access usually to analyze the vulnerabilities, and basically we develop the tools, ready-made tools, so that the clients or the user can directly use the tools and get the recent vulnerability or try to test their vulnerabilities, get the scans or the result out, what exactly the website, if any vulnerabilities on the website. So these kind of stuff we are doing. Mostly I'm doing automation as well with the help of Python programming and sometimes with the verb. So this is my day-to-day activity. So now going forward, we'll start with the today's session. Anywhere, if any of the dear participant feel something like confusing or any doubt, we can stop and take the doubt. So I would like to make the session more interesting. If we both the side like me and the dear participant will keep on interacting, so that we can have views and ideas, so that we can discuss on them in detail. So I hope this approach is fine, or if any other approach have to follow for the session, that is also fine with me. So just before we start, just want to know if this is the fine with all the dear participant. So we'll use the chat window as for the discussion. So whenever required, we will unmute ourselves and we can talk. So should we start with the session, sir, or should we wait 1 or 2 minutes for other peoples to join?
Ma'am, please start.
Okay,
Participants, they have already joined. Maybe you cannot see the list.
okay, sure.
Sure.
Okay, sure. So let's start taking up the thing from the cyber security. Cyber security itself is a very wide field. It has a multiple different further subfield that one can expertise. So there can be a different definitions as well. So if we start like taking this very simple definition for the cyber security is protection of computer system and network. So anything related to our computer system and network that we have to protect. So from what we have to protect is like information disclosure. So we don't want to do any such activity on our computer system or our network, so that we let to disclose our information, which can be a very sensitive information. For example, I have stored a complete list of my username and credential like password for my banking site, or maybe for my social media, or maybe there can be any other important tool like Udemy, from which I have enrolled, but I have stored something in text file for username password with the URL. So this is a very important information, or we can say a very sensitive information. I simply don't want to disclose this information to outside world. So this is one of the very basic example that everyone can understand. We have to like keep our system and network safe, so that any kind of sensitive information cannot be breached by anyone. So this is the one thing, information disclosure. Other thing can be a theft or the damage to their hardware, software, or electronic data. So usually like there can be some viruses or some program that are malicious, or we download by mistake, or which leads to like may be cause of hardware, software, or maybe electronic data damage. So we have to be very secure, we have to be very like knowledgeable, or very like understanding before we download anything, or before we use anything over the internet. So that can also be one thing we have to take care of ourselves, so that our system and network still be safe. So there can be a like sometimes attacker or user, there can be another kind of attacks. They can make us something, they can do something, so that there can be a disruption or misdirection of the services. So these kind of things we will discuss more. But before we go directly these things, so we have to understand what kind of things lead to these kind of attacks. So what exactly the things that we have to keep secure, that what are the ways to keep ourselves secure on the network. So cyber itself is have a multiple subcategories. So cyber can be related to internet information, network technology, data application, or computer, anything like yes sir. Any doubt, or should we proceed? So as term can be a cyber, and what exactly come under the securities, securing these things like securing systems, securing our application, securing our network and information. So all these two terms, if we combine cyber security, then it comes as securing our internet, securing our application, securing our network information, anything on the network directly we have to secure. So this is one thing. So what exactly if we want secure these things, we all knows there can be a multiple kind of cyber attacks, and they can lead us to different kind of harm. There can be a disruption of service, there can be a monetary harm. So if maybe someone has hacked our website, and our website has like many users credentials. So like for today, in today's, if we see only the student database, we have a student's details, their contact number, their Aadhaar number. So if someone try to just hack student database, then there is some there is, even though very sensitive information in our database, so anyway we have to keep our system secure. So few recent cyber attacks which is usually happened very recently last month. So this is one of the attack that is simply this attack what exactly is doing, this is stealing data from US firm which is Cassia. So they have stolen over like huge data from their website, and what exactly they are doing with the data, they are not doing anything as of now with the data. They are just saying we will make it public, we will do some something more with the data, but in regard of that they are actually demanding bitcoins, $70 million in bitcoin, just to make their data not as a public. So this is a huge, even though if we know the bitcoin terms, so bitcoin is something which is not registered or which doesn't have any transaction id, so we can't even know who is the attacker, how they are taking this money, how where they are storing this money. So they are expecting or demanding, we can say $70 million, which is a huge money in form of bitcoin, so that they cannot leave any any we can say they cannot leave, they are just taking it in form of bitcoin so that nobody can track them. So this kind of attack is very common due to this bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies. So these are the just a new kind of attack started happening. So other attack is just one, there is a one very common or very famous fuel pipeline. So they are having a huge fuel supplies over like 8,000 kilometer. So someone just hacked their system, and due to that they have to shut down everything, and this make a huge loss to the company. Suppose like if one day they have to shut down for their fuel supply, how much is the loss for that company. So in regard that same, the company had to pay some handsome money to the hackers so that they can resume their operation. So this kind of attack are very common. So hacker try to hack some data, and which leads to company indirectly agree with the hacker what exactly they want. So just not to happen these things with ourselves, with our organization, or with our near dear ones, like these banking attacks are happening very on normal basis. So just to not be a victim of these kind of stuff, we have to be very active, we have to be know about what kind of attacks are happening, what are the new approaches actually hackers are using. So they comes up very new approaches, even though we can't in the first time we can't and even directly understand what approach is this hacker, or is this the exact real person. So we have to be very active while we are on the internet or the network. It's not only related to banking information, sensitive information leakage, it can be any other information simply related to our company or our organization as well. So next we come to the vulnerabilities. How actually the first question is how actually the hackers intrude into our system, how they actually hack the system. So this is a very common or very first point from where attacker actually attack our system or hack our system. They look for the vulnerabilities. So we have to be very much aware with the day-to-day new vulnerabilities, so that we can stop hackers, so that we can optimize our system before anyone else will come and intrude inside it. So what kind of vulnerabilities and what is vulnerabilities we will mostly discuss in this session. So the very first thing comes for the vulnerabilities is vulnerabilities is any kind of weakness. It can be on the design phase, like while we are designing our system, we are placing a database, we are selecting database, or we are selecting the language or the version of language or any module. Nowadays, if we uh, take the programming language, apart from that, there are any ready-made tools that we directly use. So it can be on any phase. It can be on the design phase while we are just preparing a blueprint of our product. For example, we are launching some new product, like very similar to Instagram or maybe Facebook. So we are designing, but during the design phase we have some loopholes. So that helps indirectly the hackers to come and access our system. It can be during the implementation phase. Implementation phase usually comes with all the coding, all the implementation logic, all the algorithms we are using to implement our code, all the kind of data structure, database usage. So these all kind of things where we place usually the business logic, even though sometimes business logic is not correctly placed or not the correct algorithm or data structure used, that can also lead us to some bad form of implementation, which can also cause us the attacks. And there can be operations, so like read write, to whom we have to give operation, like which kind of operation, to which user we have to give only read access, to which user we have to give admin access, or maybe is there any way any normal user can get the admin access. For example, I have we take the example of very simple example, like some user has designed the application. There is only a few admin and the rest of the users are normal user. Is there any way a normal user can gain or can access like or get the credential of admin? Then that operation can also lead us to a weakness in the system and any other internal control. So anything related to one product that we are designing, we are implementing, we are giving the operation, its operation, or we are having any other internal control. So any weakness during this phases lead us to a vulnerability, and that vulnerability directly help attackers to attack us into our system. So we have to be very, like, from starting off the our design phase of the product, we have to be very like careful. We must not have any vulnerability into the system. So likewise, we in Synopsys, whenever some new company comes in, they have their new product launch, they design some blueprint, they have some good architect diagram. So they usually come to us and take the help. And there are many other organizations as well. They analyze their architecture, they analyze their complete design, and or we can say workflow or flow chart, just to check if everything is placed very correctly and there is no vulnerability, so that if they give them a green signal, they can then further comes to the implementation phase and the testing, and followed by other launch of their product. So now the if it's say the product launching, so every phase of product, starting from design, analyzing, testing, and implementation, even uh, it comes under the security analysis. So there are different security analysis phases as well. So most of the vulnerability, if we say, are like discovered and documented in common vulnerabilities exposure. So if we see the CVE database, almost every vulnerability that is launched or that is not launched, that is even though exposed, is stored in the database. We can check this database. So this is common vulnerability exposure database. There's just a wiki page, so we can go and this is the organization or corporation which is maintaining it. We can open this common vulnerability database just to get more knowledge how the vulnerabilities are getting exposed. So here there is a one new section, CVE news, so we can go and read these kind of pages just to know what kind of new vulnerabilities are getting exposed every day, like it is maintaining very recent or very actively all the vulnerabilities. So these kind of things. And if specifically I want to search for maybe one kind of vulnerability, JWT token, this so I can go and search directly here, so it can give me a more detail on the vulnerabilities. CV 1 minute here. So if I want to search related to JWT token kind of vulnerabilities, I can look here. I can read JWT is a library with JSON web token and many other things. Further, if we click on, I can get. So these kind of things we can read here, because this is a very authorized website where we can get the exact information, so we can further read all the documents for the JWT, what exactly JWT is, and which version has which kind of vulnerabilities. So these kind of information and complete vulnerability list we can get here. So any exploitable vulnerability is we can say the one which at least one working attack or exploit. So any vulnerability directly or indirectly lead us to attack or exploits that anyone can make on our system. So first, before we secure our system, before we directly dig into or we buy some security tools on the internet, so we have to first think about which kind of vulnerability we want to actually save. So there can be a different website has to be a different aspect, so we have to first aspect note that aspect. For example, I have one WordPress website, so for that kind of website I have to use a very different kind of tool, which is only as we all know, WordPress is content management system. So if we have to secure that WordPress blog or website, then we have to use tool which is mainly focused the scan or the vulnerability for this content management system website. And similarly, if I have to do something on web application, or maybe I have to secure something on the login system, a very common website like a Facebook, I have a one login page where I have to use username and my password. So if I have to secure that website, then there can be a different set of tools, because there can be a different vulnerability. So for web, if we see Facebook, it can have a username and password kind of vulnerabilities where my user and passwords are very weak. Anyone can hack them, or anyone can simply guess them. Simply I have used a contact number as a username, so very common to hack for other one. Similarly, if you take example of my WordPress blog, it is having some different set of vulnerabilities. So before we jump directly and buy or do something with the vulnerabilities, or maybe with pen test, or maybe with the hacking or bug bounty, we have to understand the scope of the website, or mainly the aspects of the websites. So usually we do the vulnerability assessment practice. So vulnerability assessment practice is not a new word. It is we used to say a complete end to end, or we can say completely digging out the web application, digging out the web service, digging out anything for which we are looking for the vulnerability. For example, we are in Synopsys having multiple clients. For example, Microsoft is coming up, they want to test their applications, or they only want to test our Teams. If any vulnerability on Teams, they are not coming with complete set of Microsoft applications, so they only want to test their one application. So we have to first analyze what kind of vulnerabilities Teams may have, what exactly team is. So these kind of things we used to do. So it can be a dynamic testing. Dynamic testing means during the application usage, like I'm using Teams, is there any attack that user, anyone from the participant or any other attack can happen. So dynamic testing is like something we are doing on the runtime. We are not simply opening Teams and we are not simply doing here and there, looking everything is fine, username, password supplying, login is fine, able to make call, I'm able to send message to the desired person, there is nothing that. So it dynamic testing is involved where we have to go further at the runtime as well, on the behavior things as well. So it can be anything for anything. It can be for the web application, it can be for the web services, it can be for any single module as well. So usually vulnerability assessment practices involved like where most of the assessor, or where we can say most of the security consultant comes in form of team, or maybe there is a one person only who do in-depth assessment, which includes automation, extensive manual testing, and complex authentication mechanism. So let us take example again for the Facebook comes to Synopsys and they want to do vulnerability assessment on the complete application, not only the login page. So what exactly they do for we divide the Facebook into different set of security assessment. Then we do the automation. As I already told, we have written some automation tools which actually help us to save some manual tasks, and there are a good productivity actually that this automation tool gives. So we generally were first to with the automation tool we start running some tools that usually do the automation things and try to fetch if any vulnerability is there. After that we do the extensive manual analysis as well. Manual analysis is helpful whenever there is something that we can directly see with the eyes and take the decision. For example, something which is not accessible or which is not traceable by the tools or automation, in that case manual testing is very helpful, because we have to take the decision based off the information that particular page is showing us. So very extensive phase and very time consuming phase, so can be done by one or many people. And complex authentication mechanism as well. So simply we are not like we if we see a banking site, so it is not only asking username and password, it is asking OTP as well, and it is asking us to fill the captcha as well. So this is a complex authentication mechanism, we can say, where we have a 2FA enabled. There are many other website application which used to have installed on the our mobile. So I'll just take one example. If we come here, so there is Google Authenticator. Google Authenticator is one of the app which is specifically for Android. You can install on the like not only Android, it can be iOS, BlackBerry OS. So this app is very helpful. What exactly is for example, I have my GitHub account, or maybe I have some account where I used to store my code, my stuff. I don't want to do simple login with the name of username and password. I want to do some MFA kind of MFA. Maybe it can be a 2FA, like two-step verification. So it usually take the help of mobile to configure it. So 2FA verification is stronger security. So it used to, whenever I log in, it used to send me one no, not send, it is having one valid code which I have to supply back to the website, and it just generally help me to do the login. So there are many other application. There is a Google Authenticator is one, Authy is the other application. So this is also a 2FA. So now many websites started following 2FA kind of thing with the help of your mobile authenticated apps. So there are many other apps. So you see this is the dashboard. We can explore further how the 2FA works. So usually the companies have these kind of 2FA things where we used to have mobiles number. So even though I can't log in into my laptop, office laptop, without, or can't connect to my VPN without my 2FA. So this is one good way of having a complex authentication mechanism. So just to make sure I'm the real user, not someone else is posing me as a user, just to make sure. So these kind of vulnerability assessment we used to do. So very basic non-hacking vulnerabilities. We can explore more vulnerabilities by ourselves on CVE database. So I will not like take all the vulnerabilities here. We'll take just one or two vulnerabilities just to make things understand how and what exactly the vulnerability is. So likewise, we are taking example of Facebook. So Facebook, if we see Facebook UI, it is quite simple. So there is a login page. It has to have a username and password. For example, I'm keep on trying with password. So it is saying username password. This is not the correct way. This is not the correct username and password. Definitely, Facebook will come and say like something. There is some random user. So it will say to add so I won't take one other example. So for example, I'll take some random username and I have applied some random password. So this way I can take. So now it is directly taking this as a username. So it is saying scene content is a username, but I didn't know who is Q. So I just randomly entered something. So this way I can keep on entering. Now I got one username. Suppose I want to hack this username as a password, so I can keep on try with one password, second password, third password. Hello. Okay, so I can simply do a lot of hit and trial just to include as a scene to just make to log in with his credential. So I can, if there is, now we can see there is the email address or mobile number you entered isn't connected to the account. So likewise, this is something secure. Facebook has a tight security on their login page, but if there is some other random website that doesn't have this kind of thing, and I keep on guessing the password, I can add this thing in password. Usually we do when we set the password, we simply take our username, we simply take our very basic names as password, like demo 123, test 123, Facebook 123, these kind of thing. And there are huge list of common password which I can download online, and I can guess the password. So just not make sure these kind of attacks will not happen. I cannot simply keep on guessing the password, because there are ready made tool. I have one username, I can use that tool to guess the password, and that is doing the multi, that tool is having a multi processing, so that is using threading technique, and within like few hours it can guess password, if that password exists in the common list password, like demo 123, password 123, test 123, or maybe based on my location, maybe based on my company name. So that tools are there, they can guess your password. So not to happen that kind of thing, there is a one vulnerability things, improper restriction of excessive authentication attempts. So that is like we are not restricting users for the authentication attempts. So for example, like in the banking side, if 3 attempts fail, it keep us log for the 24 hour. So that is very strict authentication attempt. So other website must have some similar authentication attempt if the website is really very sensitive. So it can be like keep the user lock for maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes, maybe add some sleep that for that user the authentication pages will be deactivated for some time. So some kind of things we have to do while we know this is some improper restriction of excessive authentication attempt. So this is one of the vulnerability that usually happen on the login page. If the login page is very weak, it is not supporting improper restriction attempt, so anyone can come and breach into the system and get the credential. So this is one of the vulnerability. So there are similar way I said, software does not implement sufficient measure to prevent multiple failed authentication attempt. So in short time frame, anyone can guess or brute force with the help of like brute forcing approaches to guess the password. And once the password got breached, or when the one password got captured by the attacker, so they can do anything with the system. And this is then very like harmful for us, for our website, if anyone breaches our website with the help of username password. So the same attack happened on the Twitter like few years back. So like attackers was able to gain administrative access because admin hasn't implemented improper restriction attempt. So attacker, what attacker did, he first get to know the name of admin. For example, it is admin, 123. So he got to know the name of admin. Then he brute forced with the help of multiple common list of password, and somehow he able to get the access of admin credential, and he make the Twitter server down. So Twitter is a very like popular social media which is used by many politician, many other government authorities, just to make the things public, and just to share the information. So they just made the server down, due to which like there is the services down, no one can use and have a Twitter accessible. Even though like once he has a admin access, he can get the access of multiple users, like common and famous celebrities, or we can say famous people around the world. They can get their credential, and maybe that the same credential they are using on the other website or other social media or maybe other banking sites. So this way, like we used to have a same password for multiple sites, so this way it like attacker can go further and dig out more information from the Twitter accounts itself. So this is the one famous attack used to happen on the Twitter, just because of the vulnerability, which is improper restriction of accessible intent. So we have to be very clear while we develop the application. On the login phase page, I will like allow 5 time incorrect username password. So if someone comes with 5 incorrect correct attempts, I will make that user sleep, or I will make that user not to access login page or not to do login things for particular hour, like 1 hour, 24 hours, based on the sensitivity of the application. So this is the one such attack. Sure, ma'am. So I will definitely come up with the the tool's name. Just during the next session, we have basically a practice session. So we'll definitely come with the tool. I'll share the list of tools that hacker might use to run common password. So one such tool I'll just open. So just to see how secure my password is. So you want to tools that hacker might use to run common password. So you want a list of common password. So there are website, like if I simply search on Google, nothing else, common list of password. So I can get the common list of password which are very popular and which are very like targeted by the hackers. So if we come to this website, they have a 200 common password. Not if we want this, we can go to common list password maintained by NIST. So I'll share the direct link. But if you want to see how your password is secure, so you can use the website. There is a website, Pond Password. So this is one such a good database for the password. It has an API as well. So you explore this site. This is just to show us like how many times our password are previously used and exposed in our database. For example, I have to set up some password for my any account. I'm making one account. I want to set some password. For example, I have taken the password test 123. So this is just not visible here. So this is the password I have typed here, test 123. I want to see this. Is this spawned? Is this exposed by the hacker? Is this used by somewhere already? I can click here and I can see the strength of password, we can say. So this is saying the password has seen this many times before, and this is not, this is completely red. This means this password is not anyhow correct. So I can make any strong password now. So this is some strong password with the combination of some random letters and random digits. So I can check this one. So this is saying good news. No pawn is found. The password wasn't found on the pawn password, and this way I can get this password is a really a strong password. I can make this password and I can use this password. So this is one way to have a password check before we set up any password. So usually I'll suggest to set up password which is very strong, which is some combination of random digits, random and special character. Just make sure just you have to be remember the password as well. So the list I will share, which is the common list. There are so many passwords. How does a hacker try them? I doubt it will be done manually. Is there a way for them to automatically run through? Yes, ma'am. So this is really that attack usually happen with the help of tools, because manually doing things are not giving us the best result. In a day, if I suppose I can only guess 100 to 500 password, if I sit continuously without taking any break, I have to breach some password on Facebook and I have to do manual approach. I can't do like, I believe, more than 500, even though I can't even do 100. So for them there is a list of common password, so you can find yourself, but I'll definitely share GitHub common list password. So this is common list of passwords, so that user so you see 10 million password list. So these are the 10 million list of password. 10 millions are huge numbers. So like 123 password, QWERTY, like we use the QWERTY key, password, dragon, football, monkey. So any with the combination as well. If you go down and you can see there can be a combination as well. We can come back and so this is top how many top 1,000 from the 10 million. Top list with the 1,000. So you can see this is the another list. This way you can have another list of passwords. So this way they are maintained by users. So this is top common SSH password. So this is SSH password where we have to SSH into the server, where we have to SSH into other VMs. So these can be the very basic SSH password that admin used to set up root user, Raspberry Pi, password, admin, administrator, 12345 QWERTY. So these kind of list I will share the list. This sec list are actually very helpful. This is not only related to passwords, so sec list are very helpful when we have to do some common words as well. So you see 10k most common passwords. So if we open, this is again a huge list of password. If we scroll down to see how many lines of password it is, so see this many of number passwords are there. I'll just share here in the chat. And yes, there are many tools as well which automatically run us to the password. So that is one other thing we can explore ourselves, or we can use inside burp as well. There are many tools or modules available. So this list is very good. The sec list is very good to have. And should that we further discuss another kind of vulnerability? So this is weak password vulnerability that we have just discussed. So how strong our password is. So before we use any password or we set up any password, we have to make sure our password is actually a strong. If I use any weak password, this list are actually a weak list of passwords. So these can be anything, like my name will definitely be there, and very common words are the weak passwords. So my password should not directly have a common word, so my name itself. So if that is there, anyone can guess my password. So usually when we set up the password, we got some notification like try to set up some strong password which must have a capital letter, small letter, and which must we have a combination of special character and some digits as well. So these kind of password we have to set up. We can't even directly set up demo 123, which is also again a very common password. So we make sure and we can test with the help of the website that I just showed to check if our password is already present or breached by someone. If that is breached by someone, then there may be a like then that must be stored within these kind of lists. So attacker can directly download this list and supply this list to their tool, and they can fetch the list of password and common password that they can try for websites. So this is one website, then one vulnerability. So another kind of vulnerabilities is like same thing. We can take a help of common we can help take a help of multiple authentication attempts, so that we can save or secure our login page, because that is the first entry place that everyone used to see while they access the application. So that page must be secure. So we can take help of MFA. We have just discussed like Authy and Google Authenticator, and maybe it can be a directly a text message to your mobile like banking site do. They send the some OTP kind of things to our mobile, or maybe you can check with the email as well. So these are kind of MFA things we can do. MFA is just multiple factor authentication. We have to do to FM like to second time authentication, we can do third time authentication. But till now I have seen like mostly 2FA authentication, one with the username password first step, and second step with the help of OTP or any other authentication apps. So this is all about like kind of vulnerability. There can be other vulnerabilities. So if I just explain the JWT vulnerability, so jwt.io I'll just show. So this is something that comes during the implementation phase. This is the vulnerability with the password that we have seen is related to authentication phase. So for example,
Hello.
hello, hello, yes sir.
Please continue, ma'am.
Yeah,
It's a
sure.
disturb.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll connect my charger. Just a minute. Okay, so next we will discuss this JWT. This is very basic kind of token that we used to do during like when we have a JWT token based application. So if we have to see these kind of vulnerabilities, so I'll just open debugger. So this is one token we used to have. So from this token we can have a multiple information as well. So there are just I'm showing there are huge list of vulnerabilities. List of vulnerability we can get from the CAB, which are already exposed and which are still like having a most recent attack happening. We can get more information here. So before we start securing our system, the main thing is just to secure our like to know about the vulnerability and to know about the attacks that are happening. So usually attack happen when we have some breach, some loophole in our system. So this is vulnerabilities. So for next we will start looking for the vulnerabilities. What workflow we will work to look into the vulnerability. So before that we will take a 1 minute break just to discuss the things that we have discussed so far. Is there any doubt, is there any other things to be discussed, so that I'll stop for 1 or 2 minutes. So from the dear participant, please raise your queries, so that further we will move with the other section. So I'll just stop here. I'll mute myself. Either we will use the chat window, or we can unmute ourselves to raise our queries.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, I just wanted to know that you were saying that for guessing, there are certain tools. So, is there any other tool wherein we can find in various combination of passwords, or which are the vulnerable passwords, like other than what you have just shown in the sec list?
Yes, ma'am. So I will share more list. There is maintained by NIST as well. So I don't have handy as of now. Like
Okay.
maybe after the session or maybe during the break time, I'll get
Mhm.
all those lists. I will share. So this
Sure.
list, if we explore in detail, if we go back and check the sec list, so they may have a combination of passwords as well. So we have to explore like slowly. Actually, 1 minute. So mostly whenever we do analysis, these are the common checklists we use. These are very strong, maintained very actively. So we have to check which one will work for us. But otherwise, there is other list maintained by NIST as well that I will share with you as well. After the session, I'll get those lists and I'll share the link, or maybe I'll share the list.
Sure. And also, ma'am, can you please tell us the list of attacks which are being done via online vulnerability platforms? If you could just share that detail
Yes,
also,
ma'am. So
like brute force or shoulder surfing or any of such kind of attacks, how exactly those attacks are being done?
which kind of attack? Can you repeat, ma'am?
Brute force, maybe, or backdoor entries, any kind of them.
Okay, so usually brute force kind of attack has no approach. We will discuss so backdoor entry
Sure,
as well. So
sure.
yeah, we will discuss more.
And if you can throw a little light on DDoS attack as well after your
Which
session.
kind of attack?
DDoS, denial of service.
Denial of service attack. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank. Any other queries from the dear participants?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yeah. So as I was asking in the chat, as you have shown, there are many passwords, and you said there are some tools which will automatically run through that list. So what
Yes,
kind of
sir.
tools are they?
Okay, so I'll list the tools. So mostly in the next session, we will talk about the tools. I will like if you are familiar with the burp suit, so there is the tool section here. So I'll just discuss about the tools in the next session.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other queries like related to what we have discussed as of now, we can take. So tooling or practice session we will do in the next session.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Any other query?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sir. So then we'll continue. So now next things is we have a list of common vulnerabilities. So we know there can be a huge kind of vulnerabilities. So it's not related to one only login page authentication. It can be related to getting sensitive information out from your database. It can be SQL kind of injection. It can be like a cross-site scripting attack. It can be denial of service. There can be any like different kind of vulnerabilities. So we can't discuss all the vulnerabilities here because there are huge big database that we can read by ourselves on the CV. But how to know about the vulnerabilities that recently are coming and getting explored, or maybe started or maybe the hacker just attacked and become the new vulnerability, or it can be any remote code execution thing. So these kind of vulnerabilities, so if we have to capture these kind of vulnerability, or we have to analyze the website, what kind of vulnerability my website has, we have to come up with the one pre game plan. So likewise, if we have to organize any function in our organization or in our college, we come up with one pre plan. So we have a list of activities followed by by another. So we have a complete list of participants as well who are coming and going to perform some activities, and we have their tracks and their what kind of activities they are going to perform. So this way, if the function is going to be happen for one day, so we have a like every minute of plan with us, like we have somewhere hard code, like note it down on the paper pen, or maybe in our mobile phone, or maybe any other tool like notepad plus plus I'm using on my laptop. So any kind of tool we can use to make our plan. So similar way, if I have to hunt for the vulnerability, so now how we can hunt for the vulnerability? Hunt means we have to look for the vulnerability. So none of the website when it is developed or application it was developed, it says like I have this kind of vulnerability. Somehow we have to go and look for the vulnerability. So if we have to look for the vulnerability, then we also have to come up with one pre-plan. So this can be a like simply I have given the term pre-game plan. So this can be a very similar pre-plan that we have to maintain for our function or any other activity in our organization. So to make a pre-plan, we have to follow certain kind of things. So to make the hunt successful, we will plan and set up some practices for ourselves, so that at the end of day when we analyze one application, we must have one vulnerability, or we must say our website is secure, there is no such vulnerability exist. So there can be two options, two successful result. Either we found the vulnerability by ourselves rather than the hacker found it. So before hacker, we have to find a vulnerability so that we can fix it. And other thing is like we come up with the successful result that there is no such vulnerability exists. So these are the end result, but to this achieve this kind of end results, we can make one plan. So plan can be based on the person who is going to make the analysis. He can make any like any way but which is suitable to him. But there are some general list of plans that usually have. So first of all, for example, I want to do some security analysis. I must have some infrastructure with me, because without going on the like without having any laptop, without having any infrastructure, I can't directly make my analysis. Because to analyze and to do and to find vulnerability, I have to run huge list of tools. It can be manual testing as well, but there can be a huge tools that are already in place or in market that we can directly use. So to run all those tools, we need a good system which at least have some capacity to run at least 5 6 tool in parallel. So this kind of and we must have some knowledge base as well. So for example, I want to search for the vulnerability which is like weak password vulnerability. I must have a knowledge what is weak password. So weak password knowledge I can get anywhere on the Google. I can simple search what is weak password, or there is a good explanation by CVE database as well, or maybe other blog post you can find on Medium or anywhere. So before I look for the vulnerability, I must know about something about the vulnerability that I'm looking. Because only that way, if I know this is the big password vulnerability I'm going to check for, then only I can search for the tools that are going to search for big password vulnerability. So knowledge base is really required here. Not very depth knowledge for the beginner phase. We can have basic knowledge. We can start with the vulnerabilities which are very easy to explore, which are very basic to understand. just so that we can have some hands-on. Then further we can dig out more on the vulnerabilities, and we can make our knowledge base more stronger. So this is second requirement for doing pre-game planning. So next thing is identifying and securing the tool you will use. So the thing, like I said, finding the vulnerabilities and finding the knowledge on the vulnerability will directly help us to decide the tool. So if we have a knowledge base, we have to know what kind of big passwords are, then only we can decide on tool, because internet is already flooded up with the huge tools. Some are charging you very higher, like they are having a good explanation, they are having a good demo for the tools, but actually when we buy the tool and we start using, then this doesn't like satisfy our requirement. So before we decide on the tool, before we directly purchase on the tools, because all the tools are not open source, there are many companies which is charging very high for selling you a one tool, because security is like very trending, very like heavily required for everyone. So due to that as well, few companies are charging you very high just for some tools. So tools are good, but before we buy the tool, we must know, is it really going to satisfy our condition or not. So that is one thing. Identifying and securing a tool for the vulnerability that we will use, we have to make a note of that as well. So usually it is not required, like for one weak password policy, I will use only one tool. So I can use multiple tools as well. So why I will use multiple tools? Just to check if both the tools are giving me same output, how accurate the output of different tools. So these kind of things I can do. So there are very like good range of open source tool as well. So today's what we will discuss in the second session, we will discuss only the open source tool. I have not purchased any tools as of now to show this demo during the demo class, because we can make use of open source tools. They are very good and they are very actively maintained. So on top of open source tool, I can add my business logic as well. So that are really good things, so I can customize them based on my requirement. So the tools we will see will be open source, and based on the requirement, if there is no such open source tool, we can buy the tool as well. So next thing in pre-plan is creating a journal game plan. So that actually outline, or that actually highlight how you will work through the process. So likewise, for the college activity, we make a plan. The first thing will be, we welcome all the student and all the organization member and our chief guest. So we have a plan, like first we will give the warm welcome to chief guest, then faculty, then student. So similar way we have to outline, or we have to make one highlight, or highlighted list, which process will come first, because this is really helpful. So we cannot jumble up like here and there. We will look here, we will look there, and we will say, okay, we are done with the security analysis or vulnerability assessment. We must have one plan. So these kind of plans we can get somewhere on the online, or over the time, once we are doing these kind of security assessments, or we are doing bug hunting, that time these kind of plans, once we started digging out more and more, we used to know these kind of plans. So some of the plans or workflows I will explain today. So we can also take that kind of vulnerabilities assessment workflow. Usually those are the vulnerability workflows that we used to have when we do the security assessment. So once everything is mapped out, I have complete, it can be any set of workflow, or it can be simple list, it can be written on the notepad, it can be on the Excel sheet, anywhere. Once it is mapped out, so we can start our play. and we can find out the vulnerabilities. So mapping out everything, what infrastructure I have, what kind of knowledge base, what kind of tools I'm going to use, and how I'm going to execute this process. Once this is everything is in place, I can do anything. So now I'll just like want to ask, if what if I don't have a good infrastructure? I have one system which is having 2 GB RAM, very basic laptop, my old laptop, which is I purchased 5 6 year ago, and have a nothing a very fast processing. So can I do that kind of security assessment with that laptop? Any like feedback if I doesn't have any good infrastructure to do? So I only have one very basic laptop. Can I do that kind of this kind of security assessment, or any vulnerability assessment, or maybe I'm looking for a bug hunting process? So can I do that kind of approach with one very basic system? Any answer like from the dear participants? Okay, so this is one question I just raised, like what kind of laptop or what kind of infrastructure actually we need. So this is not only related to laptops. So maybe I have a very basic laptop, but what is the things I can have on that laptop? It is not only required like that laptop should be very strong. I can have multiple other options to have a very good infrastructure. So before we start the engagement usually we say security assessment. We need to set up some necessary infrastructure. So it can be external infrastructure. For example, my laptop is a big, doesn't have a good storage, doesn't have a very good RAM, and doesn't support a very good things like having storage capacity. So I can go for the external infrastructure. So there are huge like cloud providers. I can directly go and I can set up one VM there, which I can access directly from my system. I can SSH to that VM, or maybe I have set up the desktop image over there. So these kind of external infrastructure is available. For example, I have to do security assessment only for a month. I can set up a VM only for month. So this way I save the cost to purchase a new laptop, and I save the cost like I have minimalized the cost, like I have only spent for a month. For 1 month I will check for my organization website. After that I don't require. So whenever I require, like it's kind of on demand infrastructure, so I can set up that external infrastructure. So if my laptop is really good, I can set up virtual machines, or maybe the website there can be a already a good infrastructure. I can use that infrastructure with the help of APIs keys, or maybe I have need API keys access of my website that I want to like APIs that I want to secure. So these kind of infrastructure, or all the tools I will download on my infrastructure. Like for example, if I'm using external VM which is hosted on some cloud provider, so I must have all the tools in place so that I can run the tools, and so that I can access the tool when I'm doing the assessment, security assessment. So this is a very first way. Because what happen if I don't have a good infrastructure? So for example, I'm doing assessment, I ran one tool and I ran second tool, but while I'm running the third tool, my system is hanging up, it is not responding me back on time. So that is somehow then we will frustrate by ourselves, is because system is not responding, but we want to complete the security assessment as soon as possible. So this is very basic thing that we require before we do any assessment. So as I discussed, like we can set up our VMs on the clouds. So virtual private servers we can also use. So for example, I'm testing for the vulnerability. So they are not only helpful when don't have laptop. So they are also helpful when I don't want to actually use my system. For example, my system has a very good information stored. My system has notes. My system has my system has huge data and images maybe that I don't want to lose anyhow. So during the security assessment, this can also happen. Some tools run incorrectly and my system storage is crashed, or maybe my system got crashed. So they very rarely happens. So my system got crashed, so that my hard disk also goes. So I lost my important notes, books, or maybe images which I really don't want. So that for that thing as well, we can go and set up a virtual VM on the cloud. And sometime what happened when we do remote code execution vulnerability assessment, so in that we have to set up a system in a way so that we can execute something. Sorry. 1 minute, just for 1 minute. Yeah, so sorry. So for remote code execution, sometime what we have to do, we have to execute some commands, or we have to send some set of command, and for which we have to be like expect the response back. So in that case, the target machine again try to connect or send some traffic to our computer or our laptop. So if it is my personal laptop, or it is maybe my home firewall, so if I have to open that port to interact directly with the target machine, then it is a horrible, because the target machine again can be send some into like a virus or some malicious data back to me, because we are not sure who all are targeting to that target machine. So this way, this can harm our laptop as well, or maybe our firewall as well. Whatever the devices that we have connected to the firewall, or maybe directly to the router, can also harm. So in that case, we also suggest to make one VM. So VM is secure, because if you lost the VM, you only will lose the tools that are stored on the VMs. So this way, at least your private information, whatever the notes or whatever the practices you have done, so that will not be a loss. So it's better to buy one BPS that has a public IP. If you are really doing some security assessment, or you are going to do bug hunting, we will also discuss about the bug hunting things. So if you really want to do, we can go for the BPS. So there are many popular BPS. So we can say Amazon Web Services. So EC2 instance is very good and very cost effective, that we can directly use to host our VM mostly. And DigitalOcean also offered, and OBH, A2 hosting. So even though apart from that, there is another good hosting services website as well. Based on the requirement and based on the pricing thing, we can select one particular uh, cloud services to host our VM. Usually Amazon, Azure, these are very famous here, so we can use any one of them. Google cloud is also, GCP is also very famous. So based on these, like mostly people, I see mostly people use uh, Amazon, Google Cloud, and Azure. Sorry, sir, not audible. Hello. Sir, your voice is not clear.
So this is the
Sir, your voice is not clear. Can we use the chat window? Hello. Sir, can you repeat the question? Or maybe we can type in the chat window. Okay, so meanwhile we continue. We'll come back to the chat window to see if, the query. So other thing is, if I don't want to purchase virtual like public cloud things, so I my laptop is very good. I have a good storage system. It has like huge RAM, and it is very latest and supporting multiprocessing as well. So I don't want to go and spend more money on the cloud thing. So in that case, I also suggest not to start testing things plain on the your main laptop. You first try to set up a virtual environment inside your laptop. So mostly there are very good or very two active organization. One is VMware and another is VirtualBox. So they are very most popular for providing hypervisor. So they are actually separating our main machine from the VM that we are going to set up for hacking, or maybe for the security assessment. So these two organizations have a good way to have a VM in our local system as well. So to set up virtual machine, I suggest like to use any Linux distribution. You can use Ubuntu, you can use Kali Linux. So Kali Linux comes up with some pre-built setup tools. So the link is already provided here. So if you want to download something from the Kali Linux, you can go to the download section. I've also set up a virtual box like for my assessment. If I'll just open. So this is VirtualBox. So I can spin up any number of VMs here. So usually this one VM I have as of now, one VM only. So I can spin any number of VMs. I can shut off one at time and use another. My system has a good capacity, so no issues as of now. But whenever I have to do some testing, I comes up here, and then only I do some tools when actually I'm doing some serious kind of security assessment, or when I just want to know about the tool. I can simply sometime do based on the tool requirements. I can do that on my machine. But whenever it is required to do some vulnerability assessment, when we are hitting the target machine, so that time I'll suggest to use virtual machine only. Create one VM on the virtual box, which is very easy. You can download plain Ubuntu from the Linux distribution. It is available. It can be server image or desktop image, whatever suits you. So that is a good way to start your assessment. So most of the time when I deliver these kind of sessions, so after the session I used to have like a multiple queries regarding these kind of infrastructure and virtualization. So how much capacity VM we will give, and how much like where we host the VM. So it's completely based on the requirement and costing the thing. So if you have good VM and you don't, you are not a very serious hacker or attacker, you can use the virtual box to set up one VM and use that. If you want to do some serious kind of business, you really want to go further in bug bounty or bug hunting, go for the cloud VM with more capacity. So completely based on the requirement that we have to follow up. Next thing comes up is stay organized. So once I have my infrastructure, once I have my virtualization system, like infrastructure is ready, I have all the tools installed. So what next thing comes up? Usually we discuss it is a knowledge base. So how the knowledge base is actually prepared. So for example, a new vulnerability get exposed today at 9 o'clock, but I was busy at that time, and I nobody comes up, and I didn't I have a friend circle which used to inform me, but I didn't connected with them. So how I have to get to know about these kind of vulnerabilities? So for that, I have to be very organized and active. So how I can be very active to get these kind of vulnerability? So there are again another list of website I will share. So to stay organized, the thing is we have to properly document whatever we have to do. Our knowledge base is active, so the steps we have to taken down. So for example, what are the target I have to search for? Not only I'm going to search for one target, in one assessment I can search for two targets. So tool outputs, because whatever the tool result me back, I have to store it somewhere. Maybe it is not required now, but in case, for example, I done some security assessment last month, and I came back, and I like this month again the similar assessment came back, but tool is behaving some different way. So I can go back to last month assessment, I can analyze the output from both the times, and I can take the help to reading the output, because reading output is again art in security analysis, because if we miss one single word or one single line from the output, then the whole assessment will be wasted, because the vulnerabilities or the bugs are not very much highlighted itself. We have to dig out, we have to look out for them very carefully. So staying organized is very like required. So you must create a folder while you are doing assessment. You must create a notes inside that folder when you have done the assessment, date wise assessment. Everything should be very organized. So it is usually like very helpful when we have a same kind of assessment back to back, so we can take the help from previous, so that we can save the time, or we will not waste this time with same kind of assessment and duplicating the work. For example, today I'm assessing my application, again next month I have to analyze my application again, like every month after assessment do assessment, I must store the result, so that I analyze the difference between the results as well. So next thing comes a few questions. So I expect like from the dear participant, please like read these like questions, and let's start discussing, because this is something that yes sir.
Voice is breaking a lot. There's some network issue going on.
Sorry ma'am, can you repeat?
I'm saying your voice is breaking a lot.
Uh, from my side, it is okay. Can someone other confirm from the participants? Is the issue faced by another as well?
Ma'am, this side is your voice is not breaking. Akansha ma'am, please check your you know internet problem.
All right, sir.
Check.
Okay. So this is the checklist section. So this is not like I standalone can maintain. So we will make this slide of a very like discussable. I'll raise some. I have already raised some questions here. So I want like from the dear participants to come forward and like share their ideas. So the first question is, do you have a checklist? So checklist is like what kind of checklist so do you have before we start the assessment? So this is all the things that we have already discussed. So for example, I'm going to start security assessment tomorrow morning, so what kind of checklist I must have? Anything like anyone from the dear participants?
How strong the password should be, or what exactly should be the password length?
Okay.
Number of attempts are also important.
Okay. Yes, so very correct. So, for example, if I'm only testing weak password policy, I must have a good checklist, what number of attempts, how much delay or how much sleep is there. So this is maybe particular to one kind of attack, which is weak password. Maybe I'm doing some other kind of attack, which is remote code execution or maybe SQL injection. So, for example, to assess one security website, I have to look for 10 kind of vulnerabilities. So I must have a list of 10 vulnerabilities. I must have for each vulnerability, I must have a list of tools that I'm going to run. I have already installed the tool on my virtual machine, but I must have list of 10 tools because everything I can't remember in my memory. So maybe if I have forgot one step or one tool at least, then it is a problem again. I must have a list of outputs, things to check. So I ran the tool, I got some output. So what to look inside the output? That is also must be added into the checklist. So checklist is something which is a list of detailed steps of every tool or every output. I must have checklisted. So this is the first one. Thank you, ma'am. You answered it correctly. I must have a list of everything that I have to perform during the assessment because it is very difficult to recall everything from the memory. Sometimes we are in hurry, sometimes we are very busy over, like we have a work, so we can't, sometimes mistakenly we forgot the things. So this is very good practice to have checklist. So now the next question is, having a checklist will allow you to truly try everything. So is there any still a scope where the things I have forgot in the checklist? So this is another question. Then again comes up, can see exactly what wasn't tested. So checklist is one such good thing. For example, I maintained it myself, but I forgot to add something. So I suggest to discuss your checklist with your co-colleagues or maybe the other team members that are going to test with you, or maybe that is mentoring you. So this is another good way. So maintaining checklist is very important. Checklist provide us the consistent repeatable process because I am assessing this assessment today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow as well. So checklist will help me to follow the same approach. Whatever I am following, it will help me to do the repeatable process. So usually security assessment and bug hunting have the same process. We have to do each step repeatedly. So this is where the checklist things come and very handy. So now I said if I'm maintaining checklist by myself, then it can be somewhere a problem. I must forget something. I must forget some kind of vulnerability. So there is ready-made checklist as well. So if we go on the WASP, so there is a checklist as well. So they are huge checklists. They cover almost everything when we do testing. It makes easy so to track everything as well. So let us try to see what kind of checklist this is. So this is the checklist. So this is one user. Username is something tap Rathan. So he has maintained this checklist. This checklist is in form of Excel sheet. So if I try to view though, so this checklist you see is downloaded here. So if I go to the downloads, I'll just increase the text size. Okay, so I hope this text size is visible. So this is testing guide for checklist. V4 stands for version. There can be another version checklist as well. So whenever we have to search for vulnerability, we have to search for checklist as well. There can be another user who has maintained another kind of assessment checklist. So OWASP is a very famous organization where we can get a more kind of a ready-made list. So if you start reading, you will get to know what exactly this checklist is. So the first one is information gathering. So they have information gathering and they have step out everything. Conduct search engine discovery and reckons for information leakage, fingerprint website. So this is one step, one thing. They have given some OTG, some IDs. So OWASP Foundation is like open source web application security project. So they have another information as well, and they have their tools as well. So for example, they are going to do this conduct security engine discovery. So what kind of thing they are going to do? They have added the description here. Use the search engine to search for network diagrams, configuration, credential. So the very basic thing, if we have to search anything, we usually go to a search engine, which is Google, maybe any Mozilla Firefox is search engine. So we can use any search engine to look up the information of network diagram, configuration, credentials. So this is the thing. And tools what we are going to use: Google hacking, Site Digger, Shodan. So these kind of tools we can use. And a result not started. So once we have started this, we can say the result is pass. We can say there is a issue, we found the issue, we can put the issue with the credentials, we can put our remarks here. So this way we can maintain our checklist. So also once you have starting your tools, you can say only burp a proxy you have to use. This way there are, you can see huge list of tools. So this way maintaining checklist is very important. So these are the things which is not like will be told by everyone while we are doing the security assessment. This is the process, detailed process we have to follow by ourselves. So these are the way. So this is information gathering kind of vulnerability. If we have to gather one information for particular website, particular web service, what kind of steps we can do, what kind of tools we can use within. So for example, we discussed authentication. So we authorization is there. We can take the examples very similar. Passing direct. Yeah. So we can check this one. Yeah. So as we discussed, testing of weak password policy. So that comes under the authentication testing. So this is particular one, testing of weak password policy. So what kind of description we have to look for? So what kind of tools we can use? Burp, proxy, zap, hydra. So this is something we can add here. So one question ma'am raised is regarding testing of default credentials or testing of credentials. So these are the tools list here as well. I'll share this link as well. So if any other vulnerability we have to look for, not only for the weak passwords or not only to the credentials, we can check for the other tools as well. So this is a very good list which we can follow to check for the vulnerability, and similar kind of checklist will help us. Even though if we have to submit the reports to our leaders when we have done the security assessment, we can simply submit this checklist as well. So this is really going to be a very helpful thing. I'm just explaining and showing all these things because these are not the things are explained usually when we attend some cyber security course on Udemy, or we attend some cyber security course. So they usually explain directly tools, but they don't explain directly like how to maintain, what to look for. They simply take one or two example. But if we want to take huge list of vulnerability, we can maintain or we can download these kind of checklists. So this is basically for the top most common OWASP vulnerabilities. We can read about their description: OWASP based web application security testing. So these are most common. If we want detailed information, then we can search for them as well. So knowledge base is something that we have to self maintain. We have to read books. We have to read for the new exploits. We have to learn new methodology. We learn new techniques, technology, and we have to keep on checking for tools, because security is very a wide topic. So every day something new is coming up. Someday a new vulnerability is launched, someday new technique is launched, someday new method is launched to find a vulnerability, and new tools as well. So this is a very vast area, and we have to be very we have to stay very active, so that we will have a active information of new information coming up with us. So it's very important to stay relevant and up to date, because it is not only now the cyber security, it is offensive security. Some teams are dedicatedly that is doing offensive security, some teams are dedicatedly doing hacking, some are doing only bug bounty. Bug bounty again is a very big term. Many people are earning huge money, and simply they are not doing the job, any other job, so they are doing bug bounty. Penetration testing and any other things can also come up, red teaming. So security is like very vast area now, so we have to be very active while we are learning the things. So one such common, we can say a very popular community is InfoSec community. So to know about the InfoSec news and InfoSec communities, there are a common vulnerability exposure feeds. We can directly go and enroll into them. So this is CB. If we go to Google and search, so CVE vulnerability. This is something we have already seen. We can come here. This is their newest CV records. This is we have already seen. So this way we can search for the vulnerabilities and result. The other one we haven't discussed is by the NIST. So this is National Institute of Standards and Technology. They maintain one of the best vulnerability database out there. So this is the database which is very actively updated every day. As soon as new vulnerability come in real time, they will update this database. So to look into, we can directly click here. So we can go to the state detailed page. Further, we can search like vulnerabilities. So these are hyperlinks for few vulnerabilities. Weakness enumeration. So this is one new vulnerabilities they have given. So these kind of information further we can dig out based on a requirement. So this is and vulnerability statuses we can also check. So these are the huge things we can get more information, and we can stay active as soon as the vulnerability comes up. The other thing is Twitter. So as we discussed, Twitter is a very popular social media. So we can follow some users who are very active or very very good in hacking or very good in providing detail on the cyber security things. So there is even the organizations as well. So if I click this Twitter CB News, so this is, if I just open Twitter, so you can follow up the peoples on Twitter. So this is CB News. So this is one such good page, which is just exposing common vulnerabilities and exposure. This is also, they are posting in the real time. We can see this is their organization page. We have also seen this is the same CV page, and they are posting on the Twitter. So it's sometimes difficult to open the browse the application in mobile. So we can, for the easy access, we can come here on the Twitter. We can have the Twitter app if in the mobile. We can read out here. We can further click what exactly they are saying for this vulnerability. So they are explaining it here in detail. They are giving these kind of URLs to explore further and have a reference. So we can have this list of real-time vulnerabilities, because to know vulnerabilities as soon as it is exposed is very important. So if that is we have missed it somehow, then we can't do the bug hunting in that thing. So another way to stay active is GitHub pages, as we have already seen GitHub. So many things we can have on the GitHub. So as we got this checklist from the GitHub, and other thing we got from the GitHub is that checklist. So there are many users who are actively posting codes, vulnerabilities, and useful information on the GitHub. That is also things that is really helpful for us. So this is one GitHub thing. So for example, you are doing a bug bounty thing. Bug bounty is something when we have like found some vulnerability on someone website, and we have to have money in regard of that. So in that case, we have to submit POCs. POCs is working proof of concept. It is a detailed concept how you have found the vulnerability, what all tool you used, which process you used, and what are the checklists. All the things we have to submit them for working proof of concept, so that they can repeat the steps and they can reproduce that vulnerability. So for that we have to go for the POCs. So sometimes it is very difficult to come up with the POCs by ourselves. So if some user has already done the POCs, and we can download that from the GitHub, we can search on the GitHub and we can download that POC. So that will help us to get some ready-made code or some ready-made POCs. We can just alter or modify something in that POC based on our requirement. RSS feed is another way to stay active and get more knowledge on vulnerabilities. It is really simple syndication feed reader, which is like fetch a latest updates from the RSS feed. So they are very active. Again, they have a good relevant information in the cyber security world. They will help us to learn new techniques, methodology, and vulnerability. So learning techniques and methodology for vulnerability is also helpful. So these are the few feeds that actually I follow. So I'll share the presentation after the session if you are really interested. So this is Portswigger. Portswigger is Burp Suite. So Burp Suite is one of the most important tool that we use in security assessment or vulnerability assessment. So this is for the Portswigger. If any new tool comes that is really good for security assessment or vulnerability assessment, I will get information on that. So bug bounty write-ups, we will discuss more on this bug bounty. So bug bounty write-ups is, for example, I found one bug.
Will be regular. For sure, for sure. Okay. No excuses at all. Till in the next step, when you are coming to my lab, you have to bring your lab copy. Complete lab copy, clear? With all the questions done. Ask your friends, ask your CR, what are the questions, get it completed and get it signed by me on same day. Okay?
Yes, ma'am, there is some noise. Can you please mute? Sir, there is some noise coming up. Please mute yourself. So there is list CB analyzed vulnerability list as well. So this is another RSS feed that I used to follow. So HackerOne blog, HackerOne activity also I follow. Most of the hacker once they find the vulnerability, they used to submit their reports or they submit the tools they used as well. So these are really a good step for the beginner, because if you got some list of or some reports which include which step they have taken, so which tool they have taken, so this is very helpful to repeat the same kind of vulnerability, or to actually to find the vulnerability, repeat those same steps. Maintaining checklist by ourselves is initially difficult. We can take these kind of reports, we can read them, and we can further maintain our list. So these kind of stuff and knowledge base that we have to know. So now I assume we have discussed almost everything about our knowledge base. If we come back to this slide. So till now we have made our infrastructure ready. I, either we have our laptop, either we have VM on our laptop, or either we have somewhere hosted on the cloud. So we have infrastructure, we have virtual machine, API key, whatever is related to infrastructure we have ready.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
can you please explain API keys once more?
Yeah, ma'am. So ma'am, API keys are what exactly is, for example, so there is some website which I want to use, and maybe with some tool that I want to use, they have provide the API keys. So comes here, if I take the example, for example, I want to do some automation with Twitter. I want to do automation. I want to automate a tweet. I want to write my tweet with the help of tool. So how I can access Twitter? I can access Twitter with the help of API keys. So first, just let us see what exactly API key is. So API key is very simple encrypted string that identify an application without principal. So that means somehow we can directly access the application with the help of API keys. So for example, you have given the key of your house to someone so that they can access or they can come inside your house. So similar way, if I have to access Twitter with the help of tool, not manually, I can use Twitter APIs. So these are Twitter APIs. So to have Twitter APIs, we have to simply sign up. So these are the information we can say. So this is something maybe complicated. I'll take one very easy example. Hmm, there is one website that is who is. Mm. Okay, so sorry. I will.
No problem, ma'am. That's completely okay. Just one question in link to this only, that if we are not using a particular tool directly like Twitter and using an API instead of that, will it not be more vulnerable towards passwords? Or is it easier to access? That's why we can use it. But I'm just getting a little hitch in this, that will it be more vulnerable if we use an API instead of directly using an app?
No, no, ma'am. API is like app is something which is graphical interface. So you are accessing the
Right,
application with
right.
the help of some UI, like you have Android app or maybe you have web browser. But API is something when I don't have like app, I want to access all the similar programming. So it is application interface key. I want to access application
And how
without the help
secure
of.
is this
It is
interface?
completely secure. It is completely secure because the same business logic will work here. It is not anything. Even though you can access the same functionality, it is not only like related to security of weak password. It has again same kind of security features available. So here comes to kind of different securities. So for example, Twitter has one thing is this UI, which is here present on the browser. So while we are doing security assessment, we will consider one thing is this web browser security, what all things, what all information here and there. This is one place where we have to secure things. Another way is securing APIs as well. So as
Okay,
we
ma'am.
provide the security for the browsers or web-based implementation for the application, the same kind of security we provide for the APIs. So this is directly accessing of application at the code level. For example, my application is something which wants to do Twitter inside it. So I can't even directly go to browser from that code level. I have to access the APIs. So now if I take the example of Netflix. So Netflix has like a huge list of APIs. So whenever we stream something, whenever we choose some kind of interest, we want to see Hollywood movies, we want to see action movies. In the background, everything what it call is, it is microservices, or it is like in microservices, it is API. So they are completely secure. We provide another set of checklists for API securities. So if we discuss this thing, this will come again in further detail. So for API security, there can be a different kind of like vulnerabilities. So for example, version API version is exposed. So if you understand, so Postman is something where we can directly access the APIs. So somehow our API will not expose relevant information. Somehow our API must have a secure login credential. So these kind of things similarly available for the API security as well. So I hope this is now cleared
Yes,
your
ma'am.
question.
Yes.
I will
Thank you.
take one example with the tools when we will discuss with the tool. I somehow forgot the password. I'll reset
Definitely,
the
no worries.
password.
No problem, no problem. Thank you.
So now the thing is we have completely set up our infrastructure, virtualization. We are organized. We have complete set of checklists that we have to follow. So now we are completely ready for the vulnerability assessment. So the next thing that comes up with the vulnerability assessment is from where we have to start the vulnerability assessment. We randomly can't hack any website. I can't randomly go to SBI website and I start hacking. If I do these kind of thing, these are completely illegal. If they get to know I'm trying to intrude into their website, they can put some legal law on me. I can even go and get jail. So these kind of things we have to keep in mind from where we have to start the vulnerability assessment. So we will take these vulnerability assessment things from where we have to start in the next session, which is going to be start around, I guess, 12. So before that, if we have to any query, we can take that queries. So further in the next session, we will take more about practice session. I will discuss about the toolings. So any doubt till now during whatever we have discussed about the tools, checklist, about the process that we have to follow, or any kind of vulnerability, we can take up that kind of questions now.
Thank you, ma'am. I think there is no query.
Okay, sir.
Dear participant, we will continue this session after a small tea break at 12. Thank you, ma'am, again.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you, dear participants.
Thank you, ma'am.